Welcome to my channel. So today I will give you an idea on citation, references as well as bibliography for your research work, dissertation and research communication as well as project report. This is the part 7 of my lecture series on various parts of thesis and research communication. So let us try to understand what do we mean by citation. It is a reference to a published or the unpublished sources or an abbreviated alphanumeric expression embedded in the body of an intellectual work. My friend, generally the combination of both, that is the body citation and the bibliographic entry, constitute what is commonly thought of as a citation. The main purpose of citation is the intellectual honesty, as because it attributes the prior or the unoriginal work and the ideas to the correct sources and to allow the readers to determine independently whether the referenced material supports the author's argument in the claimed way or not. Regarding the concept, I want to say a bibliographic citation is a reference to a book or the article or the web page or the other published item. The citation should supply sufficient detail to identify the item uniquely. There are different citation systems as well as styles which are used in the scientific citation, legal citation, prior art and the art as well as the humanities. Regarding the citation content, I want to say it depends on the type of the sources from where you have taken for your work. So suppose you have taken some information from the books, then your citation should contain author's name followed by years of publication, then title of the book. Then suppose from that book you have taken the information from a particular chapter, so you have to write IN in, then put colon, then put the title of the chapter followed by within parentheses editor's name followed by publisher's name, then date of publication as well as page number. Suppose the information has been taken from published article of a journal, then you have to mention the reference in this way. First you put author's name followed by year of publication, title of the article, journal title, the volume either in bold or in normal font, then issue number within parentheses and then page numbers. Many a times we used to take information from the newspaper. So in that case, to cite the information taken from the newspaper, you have to mention author's name followed by title of the article, the name of the newspaper, which is most important part, then which section it has been published and the section title followed by page numbers as well as the date of publication of that newspaper. In case of the reference you have taken from website, you have to mention author's name followed by the article, then publication title where you feel it is appropriate, as well as most importantly you have to mention the URL and the date when the site was accessed. For many references, we used to take the information either from the play or the poem. So in that case, please try to remember inline citation offer part, scene, then the line numbers and the letters separated by period. As for example 4.452, it refers to the scene 4 as well as line number 452. So suppose this is the information in using Onezin, and Onezin rejects Tanya when she is free to be his and only decide he want her when she is already married. So this has been taken from a play written by Pushkin in scene number 4 as well as line number 452 to 453. Suppose your information has been taken from poem and you want to cite in your research communication or your dissertation or the thesis. So please try to remember you have to mention space places which are normally used to indicate separate line of a poem, and the parenthetical citation usually include the line numbers. So as for example, for I must love because I live, or and life in me is what you gave. So this has been taken from a poem written by Brennan, line number 15 to 16. In this way you have to mention in your text or say in either in introduction or say in discussion part. Now many a times you used to think how actually a references should be cited in the body, especially in the introduction as well as discussion of your paper or say your dissertation. My friend, for this there are different type of format which are very much specific and which vary considerably for individual journal published by a particular society or particular publisher. It also varies institute to institute, and we have to follow that specific format strictly at the time of citing references in your say introduction or the discussion as well as in bibliography. So here in many cases we used to put the citation especially within the parenthesis after completion of the particular sentences. Many a times before starting of the sentences, if it has been taken from references, we can put before writing the sentence. So please try to provide a reference to the work as soon as possible after giving the information. If you want to put after writing the sentence, there are standard text citation formats. So through this example it will be more clear. So it has been found that male mice react with estrogen treatment by a reduction in phase 3 of courtship behavior. So this information has been taken from the published paper of many say worker. Here say Gumad 1952 as well as Bagis 1970. That means they mentioned this information in their publication. From their publication, if you want to put in your say dissertation or the research communication, initially you may write the sentence or their contribution and followed by the references in abbreviated form like say Gumad 1952 and Bagis 1970. Suppose you want to put the name of the author before starting their contribution, so you have to write Click and Clack. This is true for two authors. Click and Clack 1974, they demonstrated that mice treated with synthetic estrogen analogs react similarly. But the another information which is related to this sentence, if you want to mention after this sentence, so you can continuously write the reduction in phase 3 courtship behavior may also be linked to the nutritional status. But after ending of this sentence, you have to mention the author's name like Anon 1996 as well as Horticulture 1973. Here most importantly you have to remember a few things. So in first cases I have mentioned Gopwad 1952. Okay, that means after the author's last name you can directly mention the year of publication, followed by you can put column and the page number. This is one format, but in many cases this format may not be applicable. And then to mention the another author's contribution, you have to put one column. then you write the last name of the author and then year of publication. This should be within the parenthesis if you want to mention this contribution of this author after writing their sentences. Followed by, suppose there are two authors, so in that case you have to write and in between the two authors' last name. Followed by, you have to mention the year of publication within parentheses. Many cases we used to put anon.1996. Anon means anonymous. That means the author's name is unknown for the readers. Suppose there are more than two authors. In that case, you have to put this atel or the atelier. After that, you can put the year of publication. For many cases, these atel are generally mentioned in italics. That is at, dot, then and, dot. After that, we can write directly the year of publication, or after last dot, you have to put one comma and followed by year of publication. For thesis or the dissertation, I mean to say, suppose you have taken some references from thesis or the dissertation. In that case, initially you have to mention the last name of the author, then first name of the author in the abbreviated form, then put full stop, then year of publication followed by title of the dissertation. Then you have to mention for what type of degree that thesis or the dissertation was submitted. And for this case, say master's thesis, where it was submitted, Assam Agriculture University. Then you put where is that Assam Agriculture University? It is in Jorhat. And then you have to mention the total number of pages of this thesis. Here I have mentioned 83 pages. Many a times we used to take information from the internet sources. So please try to remember, when necessary, report the complete URL in the text including the site author's name. Here I am citing one example of URL which you may refer to write good citation in good way. Ohio State University Library, they have a good web page for citing web sources. So you can go through these libraries web pages and you can gather more and more information. Besides that, please try to remember, internet source should be included in your literature cited section. For further information on evaluating internet sources, please look at this URL which has been mentioned in the slides. So for unusual reference citation like government document, technical report, etc., please try to remember the publication made by Huth et al. 1991. This will give a complete listing of citation format. So my dear friend, many a times you may collect some information through personal communication which has not been published yet. In that case, you can mention the contribution of experts, like here say the experts is Priyanka Duggar, who mentioned something which has not been published, but in our dissertation or in our research communication we may mention the contribution of Priyanka Duggar like that. Say suppose Dr. Priyanka Duggar mentioned it has been found that the male mice dot phase 3 of the courtship behavior. Suppose this information has been collected through personal communication with the Priyanka Duggar, then we have to cite in this way, in parentheses, P. Duggar, comma, PRS means personal, dot, COMM, that is communication. There are some basic rules which are applicable to all the format indexed by author's name. So please try to remember, the citation should be alphabetical order based on first author's last name. If the same authors are cited for more than one paper having the same order of the author's name, the paper should be listed in the chronological sequence by year of publication. Authors' names must be listed in the citation in the same order as in the article. So you should not change it. If same authors are cited for twice or more paper published within the same year, please place a small case letter after the year of publication to denote the sequence in which you refer to them. As for example, here Bakjuis B, he published 2 papers in the same year in the same journal. So for this case, suppose one reference has been mentioned prior to the other. So the reference which has been mentioned earlier, so at the time of citing this reference, you have to put A after the year of publication, followed by the reference which has been mentioned later. So for that case, you have to mention, say, B after the year of publication. There are some specific format models, especially for the journal article if it has been published by single author. So here I have mentioned one example, that is Bakjuis B 1970, then year of publication, then name of the journal either in abbreviated form or in full form, then volume of the journal, issue, it should be within parentheses, then put column, then year of publication. Here most importantly, my dear friend, you have to see some important point. Number 1 point is the author's last name. It should be in full form. After that, you have to put comma, then abbreviated form of first name, then put full stop. Then year of publication, again you have to put full stop. Then title of the papers, then you have to mention the journal's names, where it has been published, either in abbreviated form or full form. Here I have mentioned in abbreviated form, Journal of Physiology, then followed by volume number. In many journals, they prefer to express this volume in bold form, or in many journals in, say, normal font. After the volume, you have to mention the issue number within parentheses. After issue number, you have to put colon, then page number. Suppose publication made by single author, you want to mention in introduction and the discussion. In that case, you have to be very careful. Either you can mention the year of publication within the parentheses after the last name of the author, or you can mention within parentheses both, that is author's last name as well as year of publication. In the case of publication made by 2 authors, you have to put A and D and in between 2 authors' name. Similarly, in the case of, say, citing in introduction as well as discussion, you can either mention team and Bakjuis 1989, or team and Bakjuis in 1989 within parentheses. Both the things, that is last name of the authors as well as year of publication, or last name of the author should be outside of the parentheses, but in the parentheses you have to mention year of publication. Many cases we used to see the publication made by multiple authors. If the number of authors is more than 2, in that case we have to mention at al. After al you can put full stop, but it depends on type of the journal and the type of the publishers or the institute's guideline. Or you can mention like that, say Bakjuis and others, that means there are more than 2 authors, and after that you can put the year of publication within parentheses. Or you can write Bakjuis and others and 1990, that is year of publication, both are theme within the parentheses. Many cases, some publication they do not have name, I mean to say authors unknown or not known. In this case, you have to mention the author's name as anonymous, then put full stop, then year of publication, then registered sale. But here you have to mention publication numbers, then departments who has published, and number of pages. And same references if you want to cite in introduction as well as discussion, you have to write either anonymous full form or abbreviated form in anon dot after that year of publication within parentheses, or anonymous or anon dot then comma in 1979, that is year of publication, both the thing within parentheses. My friend, there are a number of guidelines. Okay, these guidelines are varies according to the type of the journals, type of the publishers, type of the institute. So at the time of writing your articles or say dissertation or the report, please follow the rules or the guidelines very strictly. So there are some suggestive literature you may go through to learn more and more about the citation. This has been published by Sharon and co-worker on technical writing, process and product, published by Pearson Group in 2003, and another publication made by Gerald and co-worker, that is on Handbook of Technical Writing, and which has been published in 2006. My dear friend, please try to make habit of writing. Thank you.